All right, after a long hiatus, I am back on the interviewing trail of early college trailblazers. Tonight, I am joined by Jessie Dumas Alston of the class of 2014. Jessie, how are we?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it seems so strange to have so much time pass, but yeah, no, things are going well. We're expecting our first, so
Yeah,
that's a big deal. But yeah, no, still in the area, still enjoying Myrtle Beach and traveling as much as I can. So
love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so let's go back to everyone's favorite time period, the middle school years.
yeah, yeah. So how far are we going back in this way back machine?
Just middle school, so I assume that was like 2010, 2009, way back then. And what middle school did you go to?
So I went to 1 year of middle school at Myrtle Beach Middle School. So before that, I was in a private Christian school. Before that, I was homeschooled. So I really only had the eighth grade year there, which was just enough time for me to hear about this program and transfer out. So
Sure,
that everything kind of lined up for me there. I was like, "That's another opportunity. Okay, great."
for sure. What attracted you to the early college opportunity?
Well, I always knew college was going to be in my future. That's something that was drilled into me by my parents, throughout my upbringing, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew whatever it was going to be needed a degree. So when I heard about the benefits of the program, being around a whole bunch of like-minded students who were all trying to attain the same goal, and being under a framework of that support system from teachers and associates, like that was everything that I needed it to be. So it gave me a great leg up, and I was like, all right, time to interview and see what I can make work.
All right, so you interview, I assume it went really, really well. You got in, and you get to early college, and that was back before the new building. Uh, so back when we were in the 100 and 200 buildings. Was it as hard as you thought it would be? Is it as rigorous as maybe you thought it would be when you first applied?
Um, I didn't know what to expect, but that first week, I forgot what it's called.
Grade week.
Bridge week, yes. Okay, so that first week helped a lot. I think that going onto the campus with that in mind, knowing where everything was, I was super organized, especially back then. Just having the spatial awareness and also knowing who to go to for what, and getting an idea of what like being in a college class might be like. That was all very helpful for me to transition into that. I will admit, my freshman year, I didn't fully. I maybe gave it like 90%, and then once I realized, like, okay, we're gonna start taking college classes, then I kicked it up a gear or two and really started committing myself to early college and everything that they had. Once I started learning about this, like the scholarships that South Carolina could dole out, I was like, all right, time to see where I could land in that roster of 86 people.
Right. And that's something a lot of people lose track of. Like, all right, it's great that we're a school, but to qualify for a lot of the scholarships, you got to be really high up there
Yeah.
because we don't have a lot of people. All right, so you get to early college. Who was your advisor?
Mary Marlowe.
It's Marlowe. That's exciting.
Yeah.
He was coming right off that Teacher of the Year win too, I believe.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's with the Mad Hatters, I
the
think.
Mad Hatters. Knew there'd have to be good alliteration there. Um, how did advisory kind of shape your experience?
Um, I mean, it gave that, connection with the same people throughout all 4 years, which is tough to come across when we're all coming from being bussed in from different schools. Um, I remember vaguely some things about it, so I'm going to try to piece that in.
It was a long time ago. I'm sorry. I
No,
can pull up pictures if you want.
oh gosh, yeah, I didn't know you came with receipts. But I remember us doing the recycle fashion show and preparing that together, which was great. I'll be honest with you, I used it mostly for doing homework. I think I can't remember, but I mean, I had that support system there. I think I really like knocked down the door for Miss Marlowe's room a lot because I it was nice to have that person just to go to. And she was always a great support and would help direct me if I ever like needed that, which was what I needed.
Yeah, those advisors, a lot of times we kind of lose track of really the role there. And it's not necessarily about the advisory, but it is about having that trusted adult you can go to whenever. All right, so you're in there, you're Mad Hatter, fashion show, recycling fashion show, always a hit. Uh, you get into sophomore year. Sophomore year, things change a little bit. You know, you're
Mhm.
smart. You placed however you needed to place on, I assume it was the AccuPlacer back then. And you're in college class. Any shock there for you?
It was cool to me, like being with other adults. I think just I think that was just the strangest thing is like kind of feeling like you had one foot in and one foot out at the same time. Um, so I took it a little overboard, but I think in like back, I think I dressed business professional for all of sophomore year because I'm like, I'm really going to show them that I can be an adult eventually. But I took that very seriously, maybe a little too seriously, but that was a lot of fun. You know, because I would tell everyone like, I'm. Do you know I'm taking college classes? I was a little much, but I really adopted that, and that really got kind of little fire under me, and I was like, I can do this. I can make this happen. It gave me a lot of confidence.
Oh, that's really cool. And then that idea of one foot in, one foot out, not ever having been an early college student, it's something I wouldn't even really think about, but it really is a one foot in, one foot out. I mean, your high school and your college, and oh yeah, by the way, you're 15 years old, uh, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, so you're doing that. You also were a tremendous athlete in high school, probably still are, but you played tennis. How did you find a balance between school and, I mean, like true academic excellence and pretty amazing tennis too? How'd you find that balance?
Yeah, there was a lot of like flashlights on the bus rides. So there would be any away games would be just me doing all my assignment work on the buses. And honestly, that's where I got a lot of my work done, either on the bus to and from school or to and from away games, and trying to get all that done before I got home. That was like me fighting against myself to make sure I could just, you know, be done by the time I got home. Um, so it was just a lot of prioritization, which was essential to that. And thankfully, sports was only half the year. So the first semester was, I think that's when the tennis season was, and then the rest of it kind of just felt like a breeze. I was like, okay, great, that's over, and just kind of ripping off the band-aid. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to have that experience, and to still get those home and away games with the team in my base school, but you know, still have everything done that I needed to at school.
I love that dedication. The idea of you're going to get it done no matter what. Um, you have that fire lit the entire time. So many today don't really have that. What advice would you give them when they're kind of having those hard days when maybe they're unmotivated? They're already in the program, they're already going through the right steps, but they've kind of lost the motivation. What advice would you give them?
You know, I think back about that time like really fondly, but I also know that my motivation came from I don't want to be here anymore. I knew that my mom, my background, like we wouldn't be able to afford college on our own unless it meant taking out loans, which just sounded like the worst thing in the world to me. I didn't want to start on that way. So I knew that like the the pathway, the door to success was in front of me, and the only thing that could get me there was working hard towards that every single day. And I would envision myself as someone who had their own place and was, in college, like a four-year university or graduating from that place, starting their career. Every single day I would think about that person. And that's the person I wanted to be. And I treated myself like I was that person already. And so that's where some of that confidence came from. I was like, I'm a college student. I'm already doing this. I can do this some more. And I can open that door for myself so that I don't have to depend on anyone else to do that.
I love that. Very well said. Kind of the idea, John Maxwell, great John Maxwell, leadership guy, talks about law of momentum. And, once you start having that confidence and you have those little successes, it's something to continue to build on. And you had that vision, and you just stayed hungry and stayed after it. And you got it done. That's just truly remarkable.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the opportunity in the environment of being there because that was the key that I was missing. I remember feeling in 8th grade like I know I need to get out, I just don't know how. And I was even debating like is early college that's going to be right for me? And then I went to that bridge week and I'm like this is the ticket. This is how I do that. This is how I accomplish those things. And then ever since that like bulb clicked on and that was that for the rest of those 4 years.
All right, so obviously we talked about your best year there, sophomore year. That's your big government econ year, business projects and all of that. Everything else from there, smooth sailing, I assume, for junior and senior year.
Sort of, I think.
Sort of.
That's when it started getting a little bit more difficult, I guess, when you think about the other classes.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
then I,
class size goes up, right? In terms of number of classes, you're primarily there. Junior year is like crazy, with high school and college and a lot of them. And then senior year, you just got a full college load.
yeah.
So very different, right, than the first 2 years.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was junior year, I had a public speaking course that was taught through the college. And so it was maybe like 5 high school students and like 30 college students there. And I hate public speaking. And there was just so much more pressure because, like, now I'm gonna mess up in front of adults, which is just was a lot. But I got past that and I started. I think I did that and like my biology and like my science courses that I wasn't like were super proficient in, but it was something that needed to be accomplished and ended up even making friends with some of the college students there and working in groups within them and it was a great